Hello, everybody, and welcome to the SpotOn restaurant point of sale training. My name's Chris. I'm very pleased to be here today. It's truly exciting for me to be able to do this and help you all learn. The point and the goal of this video is going to be to go through just about everything with SpotOn restaurant. Features, functionalities, front end, back end, reports, and then some things it can do and some things that it just can't do. What merchants it works best with, what type of add-ons we can have. I want to be able to go through everything. I want to be as thorough as possible. So I want to share my screen with you here because this is what our restaurant point of sale looks like. So essentially what you're getting with the SpotOn restaurant point of sale is you're having a 19.5-inch touchscreen. It's backlit by LEDs, so it is truly a beautiful display. You have a cash drawer that goes underneath it. If you want, you don't have to have a cash drawer. There are a lot of restaurants that have, their servers have their own bank. So the servers have to bring in $20 or $30 in ones and fives to give the proper change. So sometimes you're not going to have a cash drawer. Let us know. If they don't need a cash drawer, we don't want to send them something that they're just going to throw out. We also have a receipt printer on the left-hand side and a PAX S300, so we can accept EMV payments as well. Now, the SpotOn restaurant point of sale is just that. It is not meant for retail merchants. Yes, it is very cool. It has a lot of great features and functionality. It was built for restaurants, whether large or small, fine dining, fast food, it doesn't matter. If you serve food, liquor, bars, that's what the SpotOn restaurant point of sale is all about. And that's where it truly excels and exceeds. Now, a few things that you can add on to what you see here is different printers. Some that go to a different bar, perhaps, some that go to the kitchen. You can have multiple printers that go to the kitchen. So maybe you have a hot area and a cold area and a dessert section, right? I've worked in some restaurants that have even had that. And they absolutely need that setup. We're capable of doing that. So you're able to have dot matrix or impact printers. And if you don't know what those are, do a quick Google search. Essentially, they are the printers that make noise. If you're ever sitting at a bar and you hear a printer, that is a dot matrix impact printer. Or we have the thermal printers. Now, thermal printers are using heat in order to print on the receipt. The benefit of thermal printers is you don't need any type of ink. That's a fantastic benefit. However, thermal printers should not be used in kitchens. Why? If that piece of paper that was just printed gets hot in any way, shape, or form, they lose their entire ticket. That's why there's usually impact printers in the kitchen. Thermal printers will generally be in a dessert area or some other remote area where they would need some type of printing. And then for the bar, you can either use the thermal or the impact printer. However, just from experience, bartenders like to hear that sound so they know they have a new ticket. So if they're chatting with somebody that's sitting with them and all of a sudden they hear that printing noise, they realize, oh, I have to go make this drink for some server. Now, a few other things that you can add on to this is online ordering. Obviously, that's an additional charge. It's $300 up front and $25 extra a month. Online ordering is a huge selling point. Why? Because simply, you can go online to a website, and I'm just going to go ahead and use Dallas Barbecue, who is one of our merchants. And this is their main menu right here. If I want to go to online ordering, I'll choose online ordering. It opens up with their logo. It asks me which location. If I want to start the order, so I'll go ahead and start. Ask me for pickup or delivery. I'll choose pickup. And then it's going to ask me to add my first item and then go through the entire menu. Now, what's beautiful about this is it's white labeled to them. It doesn't really say SpotOn anywhere. We don't have a logo. It's just this little portion right here, SpotOn 2019. Otherwise, it looks like it is a part of Dallas Barbecue through and through. The second best thing about online ordering is it goes directly into the point of sale. What does that mean? Well, you have other online ordering applications out there. Let's just take Grubhub or Uber Eats, maybe Chow Now. Sure, you can order online. That's going to get directed to a tablet that sits inside the restaurant. Then somebody has to watch the tablet and wait for an order to come through. Then somebody has to put that order in. Hopefully they put their order into that point of sale correctly. Then somebody picks it up, it gets delivered, and that transaction is through. It's a very, very manual process. In today's world, when you can have an online ordering menu that's like this, and of course, you can add pictures, you can get this very, very detailed if you like. You can add, different types of things describing the menu items. You can add the pictures right here. So you can see everything just depends on how far you really want to build it out. But this is such a powerhouse of a selling feature that it should be brought out with every conversation. For a measly $300 up front and an extra $25 to increase their revenue tenfold without having to put in any extra manual labor or really have to jump through any hoops, it's fantastic. Now, going into SpotOn restaurant point of sale itself. Now, we do need to have an internet connection. Normal terminals that are sitting on a counter must be hardwired in. We like to use an Ethernet or a landline, Cat5 wiring, if you will, even. It's going to be the most stable for that restaurant, and it's going to be the fastest. Obviously, because this is a cloud-based software, it must connect to the internet and it has to constantly talk to other servers that we have. Multiple pieces of information are constantly going back and forth, so we really need to make sure we have a strong connection. However, we do have tablets as well. Tablets will run on Wi-Fi. A restaurant cannot have 5 tablets and not have a main terminal. What I mean by main terminal, a main terminal that is connected into an Ethernet or a landline. We must have that in order for other tablets to work. The second thing that I want to say about tablets is their Wi-Fi connectivity, their hotspots have to be of professional grade. They can't have their normal internet home Wi-Fi because once again, there's so much data that is going back and forth, going to different printers, when you're actually processing a credit card. That's a lot of data, that's a lot of information, and that Wi-Fi needs to be top notch. If it's not, the tablets won't work, the merchants will be upset, they'll blame us, it's really not our fault. So we need to make sure that we're setting the right expectations. If somebody wants table-side ordering, we can provide that for them using our tablets. That's fine. We just have to make sure that they are properly set up and they have enough internet connectivity throughout the restaurant, not in just one area, throughout the entire restaurant to actually make that work. Another thing that I want to mention about the hardware is we cannot convert other pieces of hardware and put our software on it. Once again, it is cloud-based. It is built for the hardware that we ship out to them. That's what it's built for. We don't want to use anybody else's 10-year-old hardware. They don't even want to use their own 10-year-old hardware. Sure, they may want to save a few pennies here or there, but at $200 plus $65 in shipping, that's nothing to restaurants. To get a brand new state-of-the-art piece of hardware with a cash drawer, a receipt printer, and a PAX S300 to get them set up, that's pennies. Obviously, you can charge more, up to $1,000, and you're going to be getting that difference. It's just an extra bonus and incentive in order to help make you money. Now, let's go ahead and get into the front end of the restaurant point of sale. I think I've talked enough a little bit about hardware, so I want to make sure that I have enough time here to cover the front end, go through the back end a little bit, and then really cover our report. So when I go through the front end, whenever I'm doing a demonstration for a live merchant, right, I say, this is what you'll be seeing on your terminal. You can change the logo from SpotOn if you'd like. It's completely up to you. In order to log in on your touchscreen, you're simply going to touch the screen and use 4 numbers. For me, I'm going to dial all 9s. Now, you see a lot of tables and a lot of different colors here, and that's great. But I want to explain what it is. So everything in green are tables that have been opened up recently. We have the capability of changing tables based on color. So if it's a different person, we can do that. Also, if they want to select table statuses, they can do that as well. So the way that I would use table statuses if I ran and or owned a restaurant is a couple of different ways. I would say, hey, table 22 is on their appetizers, they're on their entrees, they're on the desserts. It needs to be bussed, or finally, it's ready to be set. That way, you're being able to communicate throughout the entire restaurant exactly what's happening with each and every table. When we select a different status, we can assign that table a different color. So if a host is looking at your table layout, which can be customized to each and every restaurant, and they see, oh, we have 7 tables that are on their desserts, and somebody comes in, oh, I wonder how long the wait is, they can give you a very, very accurate estimation. Instead of the normal, 25, 30 minutes, you're either waiting for an hour or you're being sat in 5. So this just helps them give a more accurate estimation of how long before somebody can actually get sat. Or if the table says it needs to be bussing, as the bussers are walking by, they can quickly just tap in here and see exactly what the table status is and see, ooh, table 10 needs to be bussed. Perfect. I'm on my way. I'll see you later. And all that's doing is that it's increasing efficiency of the actual restaurant itself. So very, very popular restaurants, very successful restaurants, it's all about efficiency and what's called table turns. The more table turns that they can get out of each and every table in that night, the more money everybody's making. So being able to utilize these table statuses and really being able to explain and show them, what we're capable of is a huge selling point. I bring this up every single time. Whether or not they even tell me that's what they're looking for or not, they're like, wow, that's a really good idea. I never thought of that. Or I could see how I could use that. Now, let me go and get in here, and I'm going to just open up a new order. So I'm going to choose number of guests, and because of this demonstration, I'm just going to choose one. Most servers out there will only choose one guest each and every time. It's faster, it's quicker, it's easier. When I was serving and when I was bartending, and I had a few tables as a bartender, I would just always put in guest one because I can ring everybody up under guest one, and then hopefully they didn't want to split the check. But every once in a while they did, so I'm going to show you how we're going to accomplish that as well. So under guest one, when you're actually being greeted at the table, they introduce themselves, the server introduces themselves, they bring up any specials, they ask if you've been here before, and then they proceed with, can I get you started with anything to drink? Perhaps any appetizers. I really recommend the boneless wings tonight. Or they'll go through their specials, whatever it may be. So first things first, the screen that pops up, and this can all be customizable, is obviously the beverages and appetizers, because as soon as they're opening up that new table, they want to be able to be quick and efficient. So I'm going to put in iced tea unsweetened. We want a Coke bottle. We want a Sprite bottle. And I'll also do a Red Bull. So if you noticed on the Red Bull, we have a little number right here. And if I zoom in, just to give you a better look at it, you'll see that this is actually a countdown. So just for demonstration purposes, I'll choose another one. So what we can actually do is just by clicking and holding on the Red Bull, we can edit this item and show how much we have on hand or how much the restaurant has on hand. Now people can utilize this or they don't have to utilize this. Also, we have certain pricing permissions. This is where things get really interesting and owners kind of eyes light up. If they haven't had this before, they really like this. There are many restaurants and bars out there in the world today that serve some type of happy hour, whether it's 30 minutes long, an hour long, 2 hours long, doesn't matter. We can have pricing timings that say, hey, during happy hour, this Red Bull is now $1.25 instead of $2.50. Now, as soon as that happy hour ends, so let's say it's a happy hour between 3:30 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. So at 3:30, that's when the prices automatically changes. And when it's 5:31, that's when it goes back to full price. What you're going to be able to do is decrease fraud, and it's just overall easier. You don't have to try to remember. You don't have to look at the time. You don't say, oh, can I try to ring this in? Nothing like that. The system handles this all by itself. Now, if something is completely out of stock, of course, they can click out of stock, and it will take it off the menu. Alternatively, what you're able to do is click and hold once again. You could see any type of info if there is on a Red Bull. You could see any type of dietary information here or nutrition facts if it's put it in the back. Or simply you say, oh, I ran out, and I can put this on the 86 menu item list. Now, when it's 86th, it grays out and I can no longer click this. It's not possible. I can no longer put that in. And what that does is that really decreases the amount of time. So if somebody puts something in, maybe it's a Diet Coke bottle in there, and you go to the bartender and you go, hey, where's my Diet Coke? Oh, we're out of it. Didn't so-and-so tell you? No, they didn't. Dang it. So now I have to go back to the table, be a little bit embarrassed and say, so sorry, we are out of your Diet Coke bottle. With this, it makes it super simple and easy to be notified about any type of items that restaurants are out of. That just leads to an overall better experience for anybody that's dining there. Also, another great feature while we're talking about 86 item list is we can bring up a list itself right here and go ahead and print it out. Now, this is a live interactive list. So as soon as things are 86th, it will be put on this 86 item list. Now, what's really great about this is you can actually print this out as a server, put this in your checkbook. So if somebody orders something, because if you have 10 things that are 86th or you're out of 10 things, you may not be able to remember that. So if somebody says, oh yeah, can I get a can of Red Bull, or can I get a Red Bull vodka, or whatever it may be, and as a server, oh yeah, that's right, not remembering that Red Bull was just 86th, if you have it printed out, you could take a look really quickly and say, oh, I'd love to grab you that Red Bull. Unfortunately, we are out of that at the moment. Can I offer you anything else? It just, once again, leads to a better experience for the merchant. Now, right here on this left-hand side, you see these green little dots. What this means is these items have not been sent to their respective printers. So what we're going to do is click on table 34. This brings up our table commands. Now, I'll blow this up just a little bit to make it a little easier to see. But as you can see, we can do a lot of different things. We can attach credit cards to the orders or otherwise called pre-authorize them. We can add guests. We can add surcharges. We can move to different tables. We can rename it, right? So if this is just a bar only and they're doing tabs, a couple things that I may want to do. I may want to attach a credit card so I know that that tab is going to be paid, and I may want to rename it to whomever that is. I can also combine orders. If you're in a fine dining place and you want to auto course your items, you can 100% do that. Or very quickly, you can have quick send. Now that quick send button can also be put down here. These are all customizable buttons. So if I just want to have this quick send button so I don't have to click on table 34 and just hit quick send and be done with it, I can do that. Everything in this restaurant point of sale is truly customizable, and it's fantastic that it can do that, because that means we can handle all different types of merchants and make them happy one way, shape, or form. So I've just sent this. I'm going to the bar to pick up my drinks. I come back and they inform me that they did want the artichoke dip. So I'll go ahead and put in artichoke dips. When I hit normal send, it automatically logs me out for security reasons. That's a pretty standard feature on a point of sale. I'll go back in here. I'll go back to the table that I just opened up. You see it's only 7 minutes. So everything that's flashing has been open for a very, very long time. This is not flashing, and I know that this is the exact order that I just had. So now I want to add our entrees. So adding our entrees, I have a person that says they want to build your own burger. So the first couple of things that we ask: how do you want your burger cooked? I would like it medium. What type of cheese would you want? And because this is a build your own, you get to choose your type of bun. I'm going to choose a gluten-free bun to be healthy. Now, the build your own burger in this scenario comes with 2 things that you can add on without there being an upcharge. So in this case, I want to add barbecue sauce and Canadian bacon. Now I also want to add avocado and red onions. So this is truly a burger that I like. I want to add all these things. Now if I want to modify the modifiers, I am able to do so. So if I want the avocado to be diced avocado, right? Because you always have shorthand in a restaurant, I can put in diced avocado. Now, as I'm putting in these modifiers, this is exactly how it's going to show up in the kitchen printer, right? The BYO burger is going to show up black. All of your modifiers will show up red. Most restaurant point of sales do that today, not all of them. So ask them how their receipts actually print in the kitchen. They're like, oh yeah, it's all one color. Ooh, do you ever miss any type of modifiers? Maybe, right? So now I choose done. It'll bring me to my sides. So in this scenario, the sides that come with it is normally a French fry. If I want to upgrade to anything else, I can here. So I want to substitute red potatoes. And now this order has actually been put into the system. I could see that I was charged for the avocado, I was charged for the red onion, and I was also charged an upcharge for the sweet potatoes, or subbed red potatoes. Let's add a couple more things. So kids menu, we want grilled cheese kids, and maybe we want the crispy shrimp for dinner. So perfect. I've gone ahead and now I'm going to send this to the kitchen. I'll do a quick send. So I leave it on this screen. I'm not logging out at this point in time, right? And they're very happy. We're going to go ahead and clean off their table, ask if they saved room for any desserts. Usually people know, oh, I'm so full, but they want to do an after dinner cordial. So maybe we want to do Bailey's Irish Cream, and it brings up a different modifier list. She wants a double. I'll choose done, and we want a Sambuca with no other modifiers. I'll choose done as well. So now I have my full entire order that's been sent after I hit quick send. Perfect, and I'm done. Now, when it comes to payment, they inform me, can we get our checks split? Perfect. Absolutely, the answer is always yes. So in order to split checks, we're going to go ahead and click on table 34. And you may have seen this earlier. Click Add Guest. And now what I'm going to do to simply put this on the other guest is I'm going to say, all right, I want to move the Red Bull to guest 2. I will move the Coke to guest 2. Move to guest 2. And the Build Your Own Burger is going to be on guest 2 as well. So now I've split up the orders into guest 1 and guest 2. If I want to split by guest, choose split by guest in the bottom left-hand corner. And now I have 2 split checks based on what they have ordered. Now, if I want to say, well, for this first one, for the artichoke dip, I want to split this both ways, right? So I want to split this because guest 1 and 2. It automatically selects that. We'll choose split. And so as you can see, what it literally does, it says 0.5 artichoke dip for $5. And if I go to check 2, 0.5 artichoke dip for $5 as well. Now, if we want to go one more step, so let's say for the first guest, guest 1, they inform us, yeah, thank you for splitting that check. I want to pay with 3 different cards. So now if I divide this check total by 3, I'll go ahead and hit accept. And now I know I need to charge them $18.73. If we've used if we have an attached card to this ticket, we could just say used attached, and that's fine. If they want to pay half cash, half card, you could choose the amount that they want to pay in cash. So let's say in this case they want to pay $33 in cash. Apply payment. Now I know for my balance due, I have $23.18. Now, just for demonstration purposes, this guest is going to pay with a $100 bill. Apply payment. It's going to show the amount tendered and the change that's actually due. Okay. If I want to finish this off by credit card, I'm going to choose credit card. I'm going to dip the credit card using the chip or EMV. The card number, expiration month and year, so the last 4 digits, and then their name is all going to pop up here, making sure it matches. It matches, fantastic, and this table is now closed out. And that's it. That's essentially the ease of use for the front end, right? We want to make sure that it's quick, easy, efficient. You could split tables, you could split checks, you could split items among guests, but there are also a few nice things to have as well. So if I just go back out to table layout, you can see we can have different sections of the restaurant. Many restaurants have different rooms with different table layouts. We want to be able to incorporate that. We can do an item search. So this is fantastic. So for an item search, I'll just choose this. This is great for training purposes. A lot of times there's a lot of turnover in restaurants, just kind of how it's always been. And if you've used a restaurant point of sale in the past, you probably can understand and how to use and learn how to use another restaurant point of sale very quickly. The hard part about learning a restaurant point of sale is not the use of it, but where everything lives. If I get an order of an all-day IPA and I don't know if that's a draft or if that's a bottle, and that's how my beers are separated, and we have over 500 beers in our restaurant, I don't have time to sit there and scroll through until I find the all-day IPA. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type in all day, and what it's going to bring up is everything that has the name all day in it. Oh, I see it's right here, all-day IPA, fantastic. I can send that ticket. And now I'm done. I don't have to spend time scrolling through everything if I don't know where it's at. Moving forward with the front end, I just want to go through this really quickly, make sure I'm not missing anything. So I've shown you the 86 item list. I've shown you that you can add guests to tickets. You can search items just by typing them in. If you need to do end of day or clock outs, you can do that here. It will not let you clock out if you have open tables. So just letting you know that in case a restaurant owner has that question. I can choose a new order, I can reprint checks, or simply I can request support. So this is truly fantastic. Obviously, we have 24/7 support, 365. Does not matter. Give us a call. If you need us, we're more than happy to help you. Shoot us an email if you'd like. You're going to go to restaurantpos@spoton.com. That is our support channel. That creates a ticket. So if somebody just wants a simple menu change, they don't want to do it themselves in the back end, shoot us an email, give us a call, help us out. Now this is saying, hey, there's an emergency. I want to request support straight from the terminal. You can type in your issue, name, good contact information in your email, and we will have somebody reach out immediately. So there are multiple ways to reach support. 9 times out of 10, when I'm talking to merchants and I'm asking them about who they're using in the past, what they like about it, what they don't like about it, support always comes up. Another huge selling feature that we have is we don't charge for extra support. We're not charging for extra training. If somebody wants training over the phone, I'm happy to give that to them because I want to make sure that they know and understand how to use this restaurant point of sale through and through. I don't want to train somebody only halfway to become frustrated to where they want to cancel the deal. The whole point of being able to provide such a powerful solution is to make sure that these customers are with SpotOn for years and years and years. And what does that do? That just adds more residuals to your pocket, gives SpotOn a better name. We increase our brand awareness. And if they're truly happy at the end of the day with everything that we provide them, which everybody should be, that is our goal, they're going to give you referrals like nobody's business. The restaurant community is very, very tight knit. If something goes wrong or if the expectations aren't set correctly and they're upset, they're probably going to tell their community, say, hey, if this person from SpotOn comes in talking about a restaurant sale, here was my nightmare. Or vice versa, if the expectations were set correctly, they've gone through a demonstration, we've given them the white glove service through support and building their menu, and they know that they have 24/7 support, whether that's through you, if they just need to have a quick phone call about something, or whether that's reaching out to us. That's fantastic, because we want to make sure they are truly happy merchants in every way, shape, or form at any point in time. So what are they going to say when somebody says, hey, who should I reach out to when my restaurant point of sale goes down? Or maybe they're on a Facebook community, a lot like we are. Hey, do you recommend any restaurant point of sales? And they pipe up and say, yeah, SpotOn Restaurant. It's fantastic. Here's my local sales rep. Be sure to give them a ring. That is more or less one of the easiest sales you'll ever have in your life. They'll say, hey, my friend is using this. Oh, yeah, I love her, or I love him. They're fantastic. They've had SpotOn Restaurant for 3 years now. They're doing fantastic. They've grown because of us. How can I help you? If you frame it like that, they're going to be like, geez, it's fantastic. Why didn't I hear about you 3 years ago? What happened? So not only can you help them just with the ease of life and taking away some pain points and making sure that they're truly happy, you can also, set them up with loyalty, marketing, review tracking, everything else that SpotOn has to offer. It doesn't always have to be just the SpotOn Restaurant. Now, the SpotOn Restaurant loyalty and SpotOn's loyalty are two different things at the moment, but we're working on integrations. If they don't want to have a tablet where they have to have it on the host stand or sign in, that's fine. They can use the restaurant point of sales loyalty where that goes based off the credit card that the person used. So just going over the front end, you can attach credit cards or pre-authorize credit cards to tickets. You can use this as a clock in and clock out functionality. We don't have a scheduling solution at this point in time. However, we integrate with a company called Hot Schedules. Great company. They do a lot of great things that can work with them in order to provide their schedule. We also have the ability to have a kitchen display system, or if you're out in the field, in the wild, whatever you want to call it, it could be called a KDS. So kitchen display system that we integrate with is with QSR Automations. They're a fantastic company. They're truly the Rolls-Royce of kitchen display companies. But with anything, you're going to get what you pay for. It is a little pricey, but if the restaurant wants that and they also love what they're seeing with the SpotOn point of sale, we can make that happen. We can make those two things talk together. We are based on the cloud. Now, we also have a very nice feature that doesn't really have to do with the front end, but more or less the stability. So if their internet goes down, we have cellular backup, which will keep their point of sale up and running. The point of sale cannot live without internet. I cannot stress that to you enough. Can't live on Wi-Fi unless it's a tablet, and it has to be great Wi-Fi. And a normal terminal cannot live off Wi-Fi unless it's actually plugged in via Cat5, Ethernet, or LAN. But let's say maybe they're doing construction outside, the phone lines get cut, they have no internet. The SpotOn point of sale will actually use a cellular backup. What does that mean? That means if the internet goes down, we're going to use the cell phone towers in your area to ensure that you can still run transactions, put in orders, and move on as if nothing happened. Short of your power going out, SpotOn can ensure that your restaurant point of sale will still work. And nowadays, most people have backup generators anyway. So with those backup generators and the cellular backup, they should have no issues keeping their restaurant up and running no matter the situation. So let's go ahead and jump to the back end. Now the back end, it's going to look a whole lot like this. Now here you can go in and you can adjust your menu items. If you're using surcharges, you can have your surcharges here. If you have different users, you can adjust your users, your modifiers, your order types, where the printers are actually printing to, where the orders are actually coming out. If you need to make any discounts, right? I'll just go into discounts here. I can see all of my discounts, see if I need to have manager approval, if I have all these permissions set in place. So here you go. only a manager can do a police discount or a bartender. And we can have reasonings. If it's for a certain reasoning here, promo, we can enter that, and we can actually say when we can actually enter this discount. So there's a whole bunch of different things and options that we have to offer here. Now, another nice thing that I usually like to mention when I'm explaining this, and I'm explaining discounts and how they actually work. If you need a void or discount that has to have manager approval, that's not a problem. This feature that I'm about to talk about in a second is just another way that we can help make the restaurant more efficient. I cannot tell you how many times, it has to be hundreds, if not thousands of times, where I need the manager's approval for something, and being a server or a bartender, I couldn't find a manager, especially if you're a bartender. Bartenders generally are not allowed to leave the back of the bar unless they have backup, because you don't want people or angry customers there waiting on drinks. You don't want to have your servers ringing drinks and nobody's there to make those drinks. Usually they're kind of stuck behind the bar unless they have backup for a break. So if I were in that situation and I need manager approval, I had to literally sit and wait at the bar and try to flag down a manager without looking too crazy, handling in an airplane or anything like that. And sometimes that would take 5-10 minutes. And the person that was waiting for their discount or waiting for their check or just even waiting to leave would be frustrated and upset. So once again, this next feature is going to help them because we actually have a manager application. Another fantastic selling point. I have not heard anybody not like it in any way, shape, or form. They're like, wow, that's actually a really great idea. And it's very simple. If somebody needs manager's approval for anything, whether it's ringing in a certain item, having a discount, having a void, whatever it may be, with the manager application, that manager can be notified on his cell phone and either approve or deny immediately for whatever was needed approval. So if somebody says, I need manager approval for a police discount, automatically on my cell phone, I'll say, hey, Chris is asking for a manager approval for a police discount. Do you want to approve or deny that? Now, depending on the manager and how they want to handle that, they could just automatically go over to a terminal and have a quick conversation, or they could just approve or deny it right there on their phone, and then everything runs smoothly there. It's very easy to explain. I don't feel enough people explain it. Maybe not enough people know about it. But is a great selling point, and this is just adding on to things. People are like, oh yeah, I love this feature. I love this feature. It's just, maybe it's not the best thing for me. And you can add on more and more value propositions. That's fantastic. Everybody who I've ever told this to loves that. They're like, wow, that's a great idea. So that's essentially the back end. You can make a lot of changes to things. Now, we train on the back end as much as the restaurant owner or the GM or the managers want to learn. Now, can you go in here and mess things up? Sure, because everything happens instantaneously. Everything is live time. It's not like we're going to make a change and then have to wait 15 minutes or an hour. That doesn't happen. It's in true live time. So if I'm making a change to a menu item and I go in here and I accidentally mess something up, I may not want to do that. If I change this price and I accidentally take out this decimal, it's no longer $14.95. It's $1,495. That's a big oops, and I don't want to do that. So I want to just put that decimal in here, get rid of this, and it's back. So do we encourage people, managers, GMs, owners to go through the back end? Absolutely, but only if they're comfortable, because we don't want them to accidentally make a mistake or mess something up for us to try to go in and dig in and try to find it after we've set everything up. Now they're upset that they even tried to do it. They'll never want to do it again. We want to make sure truly that they're trained properly, they understand how to do it. So what I always recommend is for the first few menu changes, or if you need to add a special for Friday night, reach out to support. It's free. Let us do it. We know how to do it. We're trained how to do it. Every single person on our support team has to go through menu builds. The first thing that they learn is the back end, not the front end, the back end, to ensure that any type of request that comes through can be handled in a timely manner. Now, the third thing that I really like to bring up is the reporting software here. So let me go ahead and bring up the reports. All right, so let's bring up the reports here. So this is probably one of the most powerful features I know I've talked about and shown you all a lot so far today. But truly, when everybody sees this, they're just absolutely blown away. And I'll show you how I present this and how I speak to it, some things it can do and cannot do. Now, you may notice a big difference here. So everything that we've been doing so far has been dark. And then all of a sudden, the SpotOn restaurants and the reports are light. So there is a light and dark mode inside the SpotOn restaurant point of sale. Obviously, if it's a fine dining, very low lit type of place, you don't want a big bright screen just kind of flashing around, you want a dark screen. But maybe if it's a quick serve restaurant and they want a bright screen so they can see all the buttons a little bit easier and clearer, we can do that too. The one thing that we don't do with the light and dark, because we have to use complementary colors, is have settings that support colorblind or impaired visions. So let's go ahead through these reports here. Now, with this hourly dashboard, this is very, very close to real time. I don't like to say real time per se, because then you're going to have that merchant that is going to ring in an order, close out an order, and wait for it. So it's very, very close to real time. But that's how I like to put it. Everybody usually understands that. It takes time. There's a lot of data that flows through here in order for this to populate accordingly. But the hourly dashboard is going to show you your three main reports that you're going to love and stare at if you're a restaurant owner. You want to see your sales, and you can see where your sales are at any given point in time during the day, any peaks, any valleys that you have, your labor cost, so how much you're actually paying your employees during these times. So in this case, if you have a high labor cost, so let's say at 4 p.m., that's when you have your highest labor cost, but your sales are the lowest, that's really going to alter what's called your labor sales percentage, or your labor percentage. That's what people say in the industry. So your labor percentage, if you generally as a restaurant, if you have your labor percentage under 33%, you should be making money. That's just kind of a golden rule. It's been around for a very, very long time. So people know this, and they like to be able to see this. Now, can you calculate it just by going through all this? Sure, you can. Do you want to? No, you want to have it broken down by the hours, specifically to see, hey, am I overstaffing at any given point in time? Am I all of a sudden, if I notice on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. that my labor percentage is going to 54%, I may want to cut some people back at that point in time, or maybe not have them work. So it's really, really important to be able to see this from just a GM, a restaurant owner's view, by an hourly basis, which is what we provide to them right here. You also see your check averages, your guest counts, any type of discounts, and any type of voids. So you can see your peaks and valleys throughout the day. Does this match up? When I get busy, am I bringing in more voids? Yep, looks like it. Looks at about 4 p.m. I'm having more voids than usual. That's fine. I can see everything just from this hourly dashboard, and you can view this hourly dashboard on any device. It's cloud-based. Now, this isn't as far as reports go. Obviously, if you have multiple locations, you can go and choose what location that you want to see the reports for, so you could just have one login for that. And then you have a slew of other reports on this left-hand side. So it's really incredible. You can spend hours upon hours going through each and every report. I like to go through 3 or 4 main reports, and I show these merchants this. They generally have a really good understanding of what we're capable of and how everything works. So the first report that I like to show is simply the daily sales recap. Every GM and every owner that I know in the restaurant world looks at this on a daily basis. Sometimes they like to look at it at the end of the night to see where they're at. Sometimes they like to look at it at lunch to see how their lunch was, or just right after lunch. Or sometimes they like to have it to see the first thing in the morning so they can see exactly what my restaurant did last night. So if I want to just take a look overall in one day I did $64,000. I can have this broken down by different categories: liquor, beer, draft beer, food, wine, merchandise even. Some restaurants sell merchandise, and that's okay. We can handle some merchandise. We cannot handle a grocery store. I can also break it down by different parts of the day and the different order types. So if they're having dine-in, carry-out, pickup, delivery, maybe you have an Uber Eats order type, maybe you have a Grubhub order type, You can see all of that just in your daily sales recap. On the right-hand side, I can show you what items are your top sellers, who are your top voiders, who's voiding the most, your top discounters, your employee sales, and then finally, it's going to go over payments, credit card totals, pay-ins and payouts. Maybe you have a live band, you need to pay them $100 to perform. Shows you all of your taxes, any type of gift cards, surcharges, and then overall your labor for the day. How much each job, so back of house cook, is taking in percentages as well. So overall, your labor percent is 6.82%. You had 552 hours worked today, and that cost you $4,257. This report is mind-blowing, and it's not just what's in the report, it's how it's laid out. how intricate we can get in between the parts of the day. This means a lot. If I notice that my late night crowd is all of a sudden kind of vanished, maybe I need to throw some marketing dollars in order to bring that back. If I want to see what my happy hour is doing, my happy hour is bringing in almost as much as dinner. That's fantastic. I like to see these types of numbers. If I see that my lunch is all of a sudden declining, maybe I need to do something different. Maybe I need to change my lunch up in one way, shape, or form. These reports can give you so much insight and information. It's truly the heartbeat of a restaurant. The next report that I generally like to show that just kind of blows the socks off of everybody is what's called our product mix. So the same way that we broke down that first report, we're going to be able to break down this report as well. So you have your categories, your parts of the day, your revenue center, dine-in, and a little bit of carry-out there, and then obviously your top sellers by quantity. Now, if I just want to take a look at what my food sales were like during dinner and a carry-out. Now I've just filtered everything down very quickly, very easily, and you can see that my top sellers have changed. So now it's a Reuben egg roll. That's going to be my most popular item. If I scroll down here, I see that I have 13 things that were ordered for carryout today. Let me go to the chicken tenders. Yeah, I'll do chicken tenders here. I can see when this was actually ordered for carryout, the employees that have ordered it, when the actual or what modifiers go with these orders, the customers that are ordering this as well as the top 10 most paired items. So if somebody is ordering chicken tenders, they're most likely going to order a side of fries with that as well. Whether that's a side of fries or garlic parmesan fries, it's a good toss-up. And then they also have open liquor that it's most paired with as well. So this is just amazing. If I want to see how most people are eating their chicken tenders or what type of side of dressing they're having with their chicken tenders so I know what to stock in the kitchen, I can say, oh, most people are choosing ranch. Most people just want it plain. Then we have a little bit of barbecue, honey mustard, or even blue cheese. I can then go into the customer themselves. So for Caitlin, not only is it going to bring me up this order that I have, which is right here, it's also going to bring me all of her orders. So anything previous and anything in the future. So this is from last year. Looks like Caitlin started coming to this restaurant January 1st of 2018. We keep this in the cloud. This is where it stays. This is where it lives, and it's there forever. I'll go ahead and click this order number. This is the first order that they ever had here. I'll go in and see everything that they've ordered, all the totals here. She paid with an American Express. I can actually view the receipt that was printed and given to her at the point of sale. I don't know of any other restaurant point of sale that can do this. I don't know of any other point of sale in general that has this in-depth reporting capability. If somebody comes up, and I'll close out of here, if somebody comes up and says, hey man, I think I was double charged. Oh, really? You think so? So let me go ahead and take a look here. Let me look at credit card transactions. Do you know what date that you think that you were double charged? Oh yeah, it was on the 2nd of 2018, June 6th, the 2nd, 2018. Okay, let me take an order. What card did you use? Gives you the last 4 numbers of the credit card. You can look through everything, and this lasts forever. Some restaurant point of sales can do this, some can't. And the ones that can do this, it is not this easy. So if they say, oh yeah, I paid with an Amex, perfect. Now do you know what your numbers are? What's your name? What's your first and last name? You could search by this. You could filter by it. You could filter by the last 4 digits of the credit card number. So let me just bring up everything else, and I will choose credit card number 1009. These are the credit card numbers with 109. Now you just have to find the name. And you can bring this up, view the order and the authorization code, view this order. It looks like we only charged you once. I'm not 100% sure of what happened. Oh yeah, that's right. Maybe I opened up another tab somewhere else. Who knows what the question may be. It's not this easy for everybody, I promise. For us, it is. We did a very, very good job with our reporting capabilities. Then the third report that I really like to show is labor. So if I go into here, go into payroll summary, go through top employees, jobs, regular time, overtime, I can see everything. I can see the jobs that they've worked. So I could also see, what positions they've had. So at one point in time, Miranda was back of house carryout. Now she's a front of house server. You could see the total tips that she's ringing in, total amount of sales. You could see every single thing. Now here it's a little bit different because her regular hours are 6 for the front of the house, but she has no numbers here. She just has a total pay, but it looks like she was ringing everything up as the back of the house carryout. So probably what's happening here is she's getting paid the same no matter what type of rate she has. You could look through Zach's, see server, see what the wage is, see how much you owe them for this, see their total sales. So Zach was here for 12.25 hours. He sold $1,214 in 12 hours. Not the best, not bad. And you can go through this and you can see this. If you couldn't tell, we really like our bar graphs and we really like our pie charts. It just makes it easy. If you just want to take a look at what your managers are making, if they have any overtime, maybe we can, so they only have 3 managers. That's probably why they have so much overtime for their managers. This is going to tell me as an owner of the restaurant, I need to hire another manager. Looks like Michelle didn't come in for too long. Maybe she was just there for backup for one day, but I probably want to hire more managers. That way I'm getting my overtime down, I'm bringing it up to regular time, and I'm really starting to level things out. Long story short, guys, this is truly something that baffles everybody. Sure, other restaurant point of sales have reporting. They can see different things. Now, we don't have a full-on integration for inventory reporting. I hear that a lot. That's okay. We have inventory in the way where, like I mentioned, if we needed that countdown, like I did the Red Bulls earlier, we can have countdowns. I can show you how many burgers were sold. I can show you how many chicken tenders were sold in any period point in time. That's generally all that a restaurant really needs. Some restaurants are really going to want to get down to the nitty gritty. We do have an integration with a company called Peachworks that can help them with that. So if they want to know exactly how many slices of tomatoes they've gone throughout the night, and they only use slices of tomatoes on burgers, and they say, okay, we put 2 slices of tomatoes on burgers, they're going to do that math for them. We don't really have that today. Something we may be looking to in the future, nothing that I know that's absolutely in the works right now because we do have that integration. If you're trying to sell this and people, they sometimes they're like, this is great. I'm okay with my current point of sale. Maybe you didn't find out enough pain points in the beginning. Maybe you didn't speak to them enough value adds. I'm not sure exactly what it is because everybody who I talk to is absolutely blown away by this. But if you really just need to give them that extra nudge, we have a special report. It's called sales contests, right? You could show them this. I can show them this. And essentially what it does and the way that it works is I could say, Mr. or Miss Owner, what is the most profitable thing on your menu? And they'll usually say something like cheese sticks. Okay, what's your cost for cheese sticks? $2. What do you charge people? $8. So with every order for cheese sticks, you're profiting $6. Is that correct? Yep, great. How many orders of cheese sticks do you think that you go through in a week? Maybe 100 orders in a week, just to use simple math. So you're telling me that you make $600 in profit every week just from cheese sticks? Yep, I sure do. Well, here's how our restaurant point of sale can help you make money, maybe help you dilute the cost of the initial setup fees, even though they're super low compared to everybody else. You could say you just simply have to run a sales contest. Okay, what does that look like? Well, you tell your servers, each and every one of your servers, I'm running a sales contest to see who can sell the most cheese sticks. Okay, what you're going to give them is a $100 bill. Nice, crisp $100 bill for whoever sells the most cheese sticks throughout the week. Wow, okay. Now let's say you have 10 servers. They each sell maybe on average 8 times the amount of cheese sticks. Perfect. So now you're selling 800 cheese sticks for the week instead of just the 100. Fantastic. 800 times $6. In that week, you just made an extra $4,100. Take away what you would have made earlier, $600. Take away the $100 bill that you're giving for the sales contest. You just made an extra $4,100 in 1 week because I've given you a report that labels out sales contests. And I've just told you a way to help make more money for your restaurant. So, Mr. or Miss Owner, now do you feel more comfortable with our SpotOn restaurant point of sale? Wow, yeah, this is truly amazing. Fantastic. Now, just to put the cherry on top, I could save you maybe a few dollars a month on your credit card processing as well. We also have a QuickBooks export. We have a payroll export. We also work with Gusto. If you don't know about that already, It's our payroll company that we've integrated with. If you choose to work with them, not only are they going to give you 3 months for free, they're very, very competitively priced. They're also not going to charge you for your 1099s at the end of the year. Oh, 1099s at the end of the year. Most payroll companies do charge for 1099s at the end of the year. And that's okay. That's how most payroll companies operate. That's where they really try to make most of their money is during tax time. Gusto does not. They do not do that. And with a restaurant that has, like I mentioned earlier, generally a higher turnover than most other businesses out there, even if somebody is an employee of yours for 1 week, you still have to deliver them with a W-2. And a W-2 can be anywhere from $20 a head to $100 a head, no matter how long they've worked for you. Huge, huge advantage of having Gusto work with them while they're integrated with us, right? They're going to save money hand over fist. I've shown you how to make them money using sales contests. I've shown you how to be more efficient with the front end of our system. I've shown you how the SpotOn restaurant can truly make a guest experience better. I've shown you how it can help servers, especially if they're brand new. They can use that item search. There's so many great things about this restaurant point of sale. Whatever anybody comes to me at, whatever any objections they have, I'm able to skirt right around them, answer the objections, acknowledge that objection, show them how we do it on their end. They go, wow, okay, this is really such a great product. Now, that's essentially all I have for you in terms of the restaurant point of sale. We went over the front end, we went over the back end, we went over the hardware. I do want to also touch base on, we still have delivery and driver management capabilities. We don't have caller ID functionality. You can place future orders like catering orders on the SpotOn restaurant point of sale. Those are all great. Those are all fantastic functions. Generally, if a restaurant wants or needs those, they'll let you know. It's always good practice to ask, hey, do you guys do catering as well? Oh, yeah, we do. Perfect. We can handle catering orders and you can place future orders for advance. Wow, that's fantastic. I can't do that now. Today I have to write things down on a piece of paper and wait the morning of before I can actually put them in my point of sale. Oof. Sounds like a manual process. Sounds time intensive. What happens if you lose that that piece of paper? There are so many things. Anything that's ever manual nowadays, just because I've been with SpotOn so long, it's comical to me. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I know people are kind of set in their ways and they like to do what they want to do, but there are so many disadvantages of doing things manually in today's world when everything can be automated. Everything's coming down to how much data can I have? How efficient can I be? How do I make everybody happier? How do I get more people in? Because the more people that I get into my restaurant, the more money that I'm going to make. One day, I hope to be making $62,000 in just one day. That's fantastic. Seeing that my labor cost is only 7%, it's great. That's what we want to be able to do and help restaurants achieve. Each and every merchant that we sign up, we want to help them grow. Now, that only works if it's set up correctly post-sale. You have to remember, a restaurant point of sale is not selling a PAX S80 or a Verifone. It's not in and out. It's not transactional. It takes time. Especially larger restaurants, they take time to set up. We want to make sure everything is perfect. We want to make sure that it's completely built and customized to them. We want to make sure that, it's set up correctly. They have all their demonstrations. They're comfortable with saying yes before they actually sign on the line. We want to make sure that's all in place. Now, generally, it takes about 2 weeks in order to get from a signed application and approved in underwriting to it being installed to going live. Now, whenever I talk to a restaurant, I like to say closer to a month because I'm the type of person that likes to underpromise and overdeliver. When I underpromise and overdeliver, they say, wow, I can get this in 2 weeks. Fantastic. Please give it to me sooner than later. Be happy to help you. We do require a menu verification. So as soon as underwriting approves it and lets our SpotOn restaurant implementation team know, saying, hey, this new restaurant has been approved, they just signed up, we are going to want to get in touch with that point of contact, whether that's the owner or the GM. Because at the end of the day, not a lot of owners are hands-on with the front end of their point of sale. Usually that's the head server, a manager, a GM, something along those lines. So you want to ask and you want to get that information. You want to see when they're the best available to be contacted. Because when we're waiting on getting restaurants set up, it's not because we can't do it quickly. We have a great team here. The hardest thing is trying to get a hold of the merchants and making sure, yes, this is the menu that you want. What are your modifiers? Do you want us to enter your employees? Do you want to enter in what their rates are, how much they're getting paid? Do you have any happy hour functionalities? Do you want online ordering? That takes in a little bit of extra time. We have to make sure that everything is set up and syncing correctly. So you want to truly make sure that it's properly sold, and the expectations are set. Because if you say to somebody, yeah, we have this fantastic platform, here it is, here you go, do you like what you see? Fantastic. Okay, we'll be there in 3 days. It's not going to happen. We're not going to ship out the terminals before the menu is actually built, because at the end of the day, what it truly comes down to is once we have our professional installation team out there installing this, they turn it on, it looks fancy, it looks great, they love the way that it looks just sitting there on their terminals, they want to get in, and they realize this is nothing that I expected. I don't like the menu, I don't like the layout, the colors are all wrong, it doesn't do X, Y, or Z like I wanted it to. What is this? This is crap. Take it out and send it back. It's that initial unboxing experience that can truly make a break or deal. With your help, we're going to be able to get these things out in 2 weeks. 2 weeks flat. Should not be a problem. I hope everybody is successful at SpotOn. And this is just another great product that SpotOn has been able to bring to the table for us to sell. It's revolutionary, state of the art. It's fantastic. When I said earlier that I get excited every time I get on one of these demonstrations, I truly do. Because each and every restaurant is a little bit different. They all have different wants and needs. Sure, some things may come up, like I want something that isn't going to crash. We can help you with that. It's cloud-based. It's not going to crash. You don't need a server, right? What happens if my internet goes out? We have you covered there too. There are so many good things, but everybody has maybe one or two things that are just a little bit different that I get to learn about them a little bit more and show them how we can help them with that issue that they're having. Feel free to go through this again, really understand and learn this. If you need to schedule a potential demonstration for a merchant, either myself or somebody from my team will be more than happy to do that. Where you're going to go is simply spoton.com/restaurant demo. This isn't to slow down any type of sales. It's not to hinder you in any way, shape, or form. You keep your residuals. That's all fine and fair. We just at SpotOn want to make sure that A, it's sold properly. They're getting the best demonstration that's out there. And then C, they're truly happy with their product when it gets delivered to you. And it starts with having a good demonstration, being knowledgeable about our products, and really understanding their business. So thank you so much, folks. Have yourselves a great rest of the day or evening, depending on what time it is. I can't wait to speak with you. Bye-bye.